Bismillah, Noughts and Crosses is one of the most popular fun games that everyone plays across the world. I want to show you today how to make your own Noughts and Crosses activity that will let you have lots of fun in class and enjoy teaching as well as children to enjoy their learning. Right, so let's start with the blank slide. So first thing that I'd like to do is I'm going to start the stopwatch. I'm just curious to see how long it will take to make this activity. So first thing I need is a picture of noughts and crosses. So I've got option of two pictures, one bottom one and one the top one. One is transparent, as you can see, depending on which one you prefer, and the other one's got a yellow background in it. So I'm going to use the yellow one for this tutorial. So we have one picture, and one thing I want you to be aware of is picture format and selection pane. What that gives you the list of objects that you have in the picture or in the slide. What you can do next is the picture we have, we can crop. So we have only notes. There we are. And then we can copy and paste the same picture. And when we go to the crop option, we're going to see the other part of the picture. So what we can do is just slide this to the left. And by doing this, we're going to have two pictures of same size. Okay, so on the side, you can see that one is called picture 5, the other one is called picture 3. If I select here, I can make it visible and I can hide it as well. So that gives me indication of what picture I'm working with. So if it's the X or notes or crosses that I want to work with, what I recommend you to do is that you rename it to X1 or cross 1, or the second picture is our note, so you could rename it note 1. The next bit that we need to do is we need to insert a shape. So if I choose this shape and I'm going to change the color of it to yellow, and you can see on the side it says rectangle rounded corner. Rounded corner rectangle. There we are. What I can also do is I can change the outline of it, and once I double click on the shape, I can put number 1 in there. And this number 1, I want it to be a different color, say blue. Blue's nice. Okay, so I have on my list or on my slide, I have 3 things. I go notes, crosses, and rectangle. And this rectangle I'm going to rename to number 1. You'll see in a bit why is that important. So, and the other thing I want to do is I want to make sure that my cross comes at the top. So to do that, I'm just going to move it from here up. There you go on that list. So there we are. So we have notes and crosses, note and a cross, and number 1. So what we're going to insert now is we're going to insert animations, and I want this to appear. There we are. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to assign. The next thing we need to do is we need to assign animation to the cross, and I want this cross to appear. But what I'm going to do, I want it to appear on click, and I'm going to set a trigger. And trigger could be any of the things that you see on the screen or on this slide. So I've got my note and my cross and number 1 to remember that rectangle that we inserted. So if I set rectangle as my trigger, what that means when I go into slideshow, I'm not going to see the cross. It's only when I click on number 1, then it's going to appear. But here's another thing I'm going to do here. I'm going to select the cross, and I'm going to add another animation to do that, I have to go on this plus sign here, add animation. And this time, when I click on it, I want it to disappear. So I'm like that, and I want it to wipe from top down there. And I'm going to set a trigger for that, and I want it to be same trigger, number 1. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to open animation pane as well, so you can see it here. You can see here, there are 2 animations that are already set. So let's have a look. So when I click once, second time disappears, appears, disappears. I can see it, I don't see it. So there you go. So I've got my cross set. What about the notes? Oh, right. I'm going to add animation for it to appear, but at the same time, I want the trigger to be number 1, that same rectangle. There you go. That's my trigger. But with that, I want it to appear with the previous. Look there, with the previous. So that means whenever I press on the cross and I press again, the cross disappears, but the note appears. Can you see that? There we are. So that's what it means with the previous animation. So let's see the next. I want this note as well to disappear. So I'm going to add another animation. And in this case, I want it to disappear like that. And I'm going to just reduce the time of that by clicking up here, there. All right, so now I've reduced the time and I want it to happen on click. There we are. Okay, so let's see how all that looks. All right, I made a mistake here. All right, so what I should have done here, I just made a mistake. I need to select the note and I need to go to add animation. And from there, I want it to swivel. And when it swivels, I want it to go on click of number 1. And I'm just going to reduce the length of it to half a second. Right, so let's see how all that looks like now. So I click once, X or cross appears, and second time I click, cross disappears and note appears, and third time I click, note disappears. There we are, like that. Great stuff. Okay, so let's see now. So I've got my trigger ready. I'm going to put it right next to it, there, like that. And I'm going to put my cross on top. So this way I have 2 together. So I've set all the animation and everything I needed. All I have to do now is just copy and paste what I have here. But while I'm doing that, I'm going to open up picture format and selection pane. Look, it's right here. So I can see exactly what I'm working with. So copy, paste. Let's see. There we are. But look over here. On the selection pane, I have a lot of them with the same name. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to rename the new things that I'm putting on this slide. So that's going to be important later on when we have the slide full of notes and crosses. So see here, I've got number 1 and number 2. I've got two things together, alhamdulillah. So let's paste again. Look, I've got 3 of them. Here's the third one. So I'm going to rename them again. So 3. So this process I'm going to speed up. See. There you go. I've got, and in here I'm going to change the name or the number in that square. So there we are. 1, 2, 3. So what we do now is we repeat this a few more times, just so we can get the 9 of these. And every time we work with them, we rename them on the side. I'll try to fast forward this part of the video. You can see the process is quite straightforward now. Okay, so now I've labeled all of my objects that I have on here, all of these individual pictures, as well as rectangles. So what I need to do now, I just need to test it. There we are. I'm going to go into full screen, and number 1, number 2, number 3, 3 clicks. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we can't see the bottom line because it's just off the screen a little bit. So here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to hold on Control. I'm going to click once on each of these X's because I want to move them down. I'm going to use the arrow keys to move them down on top of the notes. And there we are. So now I'm going to select all of these. I'm just going to move them together to the side. And we can see that numbers 4, 5, 6, they should go a little bit higher up. There we are. Just trying to keep them aligned. There we are. And right now, I think this could have been a little bit bigger. So I'm holding the Control key to increase the size of these notes and crosses. There we are. And I'm using the arrow keys just to move them to the side a little bit. Maybe what I should have done is I should have made the pictures a little bit bigger from the very start. But there we are. So let's test this. Number 4, there we are. So there we are. Okay, so my template is ready now. So the next thing I need is to insert something behind the template. So let me check the time. So we are on 16 minutes so far. We've got our template ready. So the next thing that's left to do is, what do I want to have behind the notes and crosses, and how big is that going to be? Right, so I've got some flags here because I like to, it's quite fun for children to learn about different flags, especially with the Euros 2020 going ahead now. So there we are. That's decent size of flags. So you might be thinking, how did I get the flags in? Well, first things first is I've grouped them into one group. You see there? So what I need to do is I've aligned the pictures of flags, and what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get one of these flags and I'm going to add that to the very top. You'll see the reason why in a bit. Okay, and now I'm going to select them all. I could even make them a little bit bigger. Yeah. Let me check how that looks. That is maybe a little bit too big, but that's only because the gaps between them are quite big. Yeah, that should be better. All right, so I select all of these flags, including the one at the top. This one's going to be quite important. You'll see in a bit. So I'm going to select them, group them. I'm going to go up here to group them. There you go. There you go. So now they are like one group. So I bring them to where I want them to be. There we are. I can even make them smaller to fit a little bit better. Okay, that should be fine. Yeah, that should do. I'm quite happy with this. And the next thing I'm going to do, can you see backward? So if I keep on clicking on that, it's going to move it slowly one at a time. But if you select the drop down menu here, send to back, it's going to send all of them to the back. So let's go to slideshow now. So now I have a list of flags with numbers, and the children could be saying to me, what's this flag here? It's Lebanon, or Lubnan in Arabic, and I could give them a cross. The next child says Italy, I could give them a note, and I do that by simply clicking twice on the number. And they could say number three is Somalia, and I say no, number three is not Somalia, it's America. So next group or next child, and when they give me the right answers, they get the chance to win the game. This is the bit that the Somali flag at the top is really important. Let's check the stopwatch. So that's 19 minutes going on to 20, and that's how long it took us to make this this activity. But here's the fun bit. If we want to change the flags that we have here, all you have to do, I would recommend you, first thing is you duplicate the slide that you have. Right click on the side and duplicate slide. So that way you don't lose the one that you already made. And secondly, the flag at the top that we have is there for us just to make it easier to select the little flags at the bottom. So say I want to insert a different flag instead of any of these. So first thing I have to do is ungroup. So now they are all individually. Because I put them aside, the size of these flags is just right. I'm going to do right click and change picture and stock images. To move it slowly one at a time, but if you select the drop down menu here, send to back, it's going to send all of them to the back. So let's go to slideshow now. So now I have a list of flags with numbers, and the children could be saying to me, what's this flag here? It's Lebanon, or Lubnan in Arabic, and I could give them a cross. The next child says Italy, I could give them a note, and I do that by simply clicking twice on the number. And they could say number three is Somalia, and I say no, number three is not Somalia, it's America. So next group or next child, and when they give me the right answers, they get the chance to win the game. So this is the bit that the Somali flag at the top is really important. Let's check the stopwatch. So that's 19 minutes going on to 20, and that's how long it took us to make this this activity. But here's the fun bit. If we want to change the flags that we have here, all you have to do, I would recommend you, first thing is you duplicate the slide that you have. Right click on the side and duplicate slide. So that way you don't lose the one that you already made. And secondly, the flag at the top that we have is there for us just to make it easier to select the little flags at the bottom. So say I want to insert a different flag instead of any of these. So first thing I have to do is ungroup. So now they are all individually. Because I put them aside, you know, the size of these flags is just right. I'm going to do right click and change picture. So you could put anything in the background to play noughts and crosses, and to change the picture, you could just simply go to right click and change picture, and here you could type in what you need. There we are. There's a lovely country. You should visit it if you haven't had a chance to. There you go. So I've just inserted the picture, and the little box that comes with it, I could just delete it. There you are. Okay, what about this flag? I want to insert this one, change the flag to online sources. And here I could say, there we are. There's a Turkish flag. And the little box text box that comes with it, if it appears on your one, you can just simply delete it. And there we are. So now I've added 2-3 more pictures in here. And the next thing I do, I just simply select all of these objects and I group them. I go to the picture format, I go to group, and now I can put them behind in their place. So when we go into Slideshow, I've got the list of new countries and ready to play noughts and crosses. The next thing you could do is you could move the list that you made out of there, and you can ungroup it, and then select one of them, right click, change the picture. You could go to online resources and type in teacher, flip art, and from here you could select a different picture to go in its place, and you simply do the same for all of them. So if I select this one here or this picture, let's see, there we are. So I'm just going to get rid of that little box that comes with it. Don't know why. There we are. Right click for the next one. There we are. So once you've replaced the images of flags that you had with images of professionals or people who help us, as they call them in the UK, you go to picture format and then you go to group and group. There we are. So all of that is like one group. So all we have to do now is just move them back in place behind those crosses. And once we go into full screen, we can only see the people there. So the pilot and the diver, there we are, and hairdresser, there we are. So this is the next thing that you could do with this activity. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and visit my YouTube channel, Easy Arabic with Mevladin. Also try to visit my online Amazon shop where you can buy some of the merchandise and books that I make for children, which is available worldwide.